Hey there, my name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Bird Medicine, and today's topic is Make It Happen. I recently took a friend of mine, a new friend, Christian, to this cafe that I go to all the time called Rust is Gold here in Albuquerque. Highly recommend it. I often go and choose that cafe because it's just the nicest humans you'll ever meet. The people that work there, the people that go there. Often I have lovely interactions there, and so I really appreciate the quality of consciousness. So I took him there to explore it because I was like, really like this cafe. And he was talking to me about celibacy, which is a thought I haven't had for a hot minute, probably because of all my Scorpio. But there have been periods in my life where I have felt kind of asexual, not that I reproduce by budding, but I felt disconnected from my sexuality. And in those periods, I would choose celibacy, and I would just be like, I'm not focused on creating romantic relationship. I'm not focused on sex. I'm going to focus on my spiritual development. And so as Christian was telling me about his focus and attention with celibacy, I was like, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, we don't always have to make certain things happen in our lives, and it's okay to let things fall fallow and have a period of rest. And so, as per the usual, I want to talk about this in a few directions, but I thought it'd be interesting to first connect to this piece that he was offering me regarding sexuality, because I just did a video called The Birds and the Bees regarding sexuality that's been in my mind since I had a conversation with a friend at a recent wedding. But, talking to him, it was like, a year ago, I really felt like, no, Heather, not only does Heather need to have sex in her life, like I need to be held. I feel like a robot. I've had all this rejection for 5 years. I need to be held. I don't feel like a human. And Divines aligned, I was able to have the experience of 2 different relationships this past year. And, one of the things you forget while you're in your pity party, not being held as a single person, is how much you can get a crick in your neck by having somebody hold you also. You know what I mean? So it's like, I was recognizing that this year. I'd be like, oh, my neck hurts because let's flip sides. You know what I mean? And so it's like deeply hilarious to me. This thing that I'm craving, once delivered, might create some new circumstance that you want to wiggle away from, Oh, life is so silly. So Heather's in a period of marinating on, just because, this is a period for me to grieve, and it often is a period for me to grieve, but I'm working to use this period of grieving. My friend Terry, he was actually the first person, even though I lost my virginity to rape, he was the first person I chose to have sex with in this life, and he just passed the day before my mom's birthday, and so it's been a long journey from that first moment I opted in regarding sex to this moment at 48. And I'm weighing that consideration that Christian brought into my awareness of maybe I don't need to make it happen. Maybe like this year's been fulfilling enough for me and I don't necessarily need relationship and I don't necessarily need sex. And I'm grateful to have been held, and I'm grateful to have received touch, and I'm grateful to have been reminded that I'm human. And maybe that's enough for the time being. Another place that I find this, I was working with a client today, client and friend that lives in Scotland, travels in the Scotland, Wales, Ireland area. And today he was talking to me about something that's been a common poison in my own cup that he also struggles with. He's been working with internal family systems. If you're not familiar with that, there's something that used to be called multiple personality disorder. If you've ever seen the movie Sybil, which is amazing and terrifying, absolutely terrifying. It was about what used to be called MPD, and it's now called DID, or dissociative identity disorder, which a dear friend of mine does have. But internal family systems basically states that we all kind of have dissociative identity disorder. We all have kind of a fragmented aspect of self. And so it's about understanding these aspects of selves and having like an integration of that. And so he was talking to me about this, and he was saying that one of his selves is a real time manager. It's a real time bully. And Heather has a very militant time bully, very aggressive. Time is real. Time is real. And it's hilarious because Illusions by Richard Bach says we teach best what we most need to learn. And as a kid, I used to really stew on that and be like, why haven't I teach it if I don't know it? That doesn't make any sense, Richard. But I see this. It's like I constantly teach that time is an illusion. Time is an illusion. Time is an illusion. You might think right now, what do you mean time is an illusion? Well, calendars were made by man. If you haven't noticed, they leap around. Time was a construct created by man, and we tend to send our clocks forwards and backwards because it tends to leap around because it's a fallible system. Because in reality, the reason every time man tries to touch time and create a system for it, and it has this fallibility to it, is because the truth is there's only ever now. Your physical body that you are inhabiting, irrespective of what lifetime you're in, it has only existed in the moment of now. Heather Feather, no matter how much she jumps around, and it's a bunch, cannot jump back into the past and cannot jump into her future physically, irrespective of my mind having a penchant for wandering around the cabin. Physically, I'll always be here now. And so that's, that whole concept of being here now is about getting present where the point of power really exists, and it's here with my breath in this moment and now. But as a teacher of time is an illusion, I have operated throughout my life as if time is very real. I got all those speeding tickets. I'm burning the midnight oil all the time because I operate as if time is very, very real. And so, there's this idea with this time manager, this time pressure entity within me that exists in my friend James as well. That, it's like, I better hurry up and make it happen. I know I have always, there's a song by Supreme Beings of Leisure, and the lyric is, I sleep with a book written in my head. And every time I hear that, I'm like, oh, I feel like I sleep with a bunch of books in my head. And I do. I have several books to write just of my own accord of what I want to write and talk about. And I have several textbooks to make for the magical college, mystical college that I'm in the process of creating. And so I sleep with a bunch of books in my head. No wonder I'm not sleeping very well. Maybe I should put this on paper. But I work under a daily concept of pressure of I got to make it happen. I can feel that time captain come in and be like, you better write those books. You got to make a textbook. You got to make a college. You got to get some bricks together. And I just feel this pressured conversation of what it means for Heather Feather to manifest her dreams. The Akashic Records has told me it is written, it is my destiny. And so I'm just rushing through the delusion of time to meet a destiny that I'm destined to find. It's kind of a goofy. I don't know if this makes the most sense, you guys. And I saw a woman on the Instagrams yesterday, and she was saying that I'm 70 and I just wrote my first book. And so, a lot of times, I know friends that are in their early 20s that have written books. Amazing. But it doesn't necessarily mean that's the path I'm on. The book I'm writing requires perhaps maybe 6 decades of stewing first. You know what I mean? And so 6 decades of marinating before I'm ready to apply what I've come to understand into a book and to disseminate it into okay, now I can offer it back to you. And it's okay to take that time. I don't have to make it happen right now. It's possible I'm creating a college that will be up and running, but it may be something that I hand over as I'm exiting that humanity is able to enjoy when I'm not in this plane. I have this vision of me, okay, I'm going to offer it. And who knows, I might offer it in the next decade as well. But it's this concept that I've got to make this happen. It is my duty. It is my mission. It is written. That kind of takes away the fun. It takes the wind out of my sails sometimes because creating out of pressure is not anywhere near as fun as creating out of joy or interest, And so it is my interest to create this, and it does intrigue me. And I think I'm going to enjoy it a lot more. I'll just slow down a little bit. Because right now, I've been working 7 days a week. It's not a time for me to sit and write a textbook. I work a day job, 9 hours a day, 5 days a week. And I, right now, currently write class weeknights and write class on weekends. And I teach my final class this coming Thursday. And, I'm a year and a half away from having annuity payments that will really let me step back from having all this other work that I'm doing. And so I'll be able to continue to take clients. I'll be able to continue to do the work I do with Rare Bird Medicine, but it won't be necessary for me to do as much. And so I find it really interesting how much pressure I have on Heather Feather to create and manifest something right before a really graceful period where it will be really easy and I'll have lots of free time to create something. Like sometimes we're even trying to make it happen at an illogical time. Are there any ways you're trying to make a relationship happen rather than being present with your current creation? I feel that. I feel like I rushed right back onto Facebook dating, and it's been a rough year, actually. Both breakups that I had were not breakups that I wanted because I'm a long-termer. And when I date someone, I expect I'm going to be with them forever. And they were hard things to walk away from and be like, this, as much as I love you, is not actually the path that I'm on. So I can't remain with you and be on the path that I'm on because I'd have to adopt things that don't work for me based on who I've become and what I know to be true of how I'm going to walk in the world and what I'm going to allow frequency-wise to be around me, da-da-da-da-da. No level of superiority. We just had different aims of what we're seeking. So, are there any ways where you're like trying to make relationship happen or trying to make friendship happen? The best way to enjoy friendship is to be really friendly with yourself. I'm somebody that really has not craved friendship in this life. And to be fair, divinity infinitely offers friendship to me. It's like, you want another friend? You want another friend? I'm always like, no, I have special interests. I'm autistic. I want to read a book. Like, I love all these two-leggeds, but I could spend my life in conversation, or I could spend my life in study and teaching. And, I tend to be more of the Hierophant high priestess energy and less like the universal community energy. And I think it's because a part of my soul's always known I'm going to have that concept of divine community, divine aligned minds at the end of my paradigm. So I've always known there's this amazing manifestation on the tail end. And I really want to develop who I'm going to be in that community before I step into it, But there's this concept. I was talking to a dear friend last night, a Tam Dizzle, about, community. Tam Diddy loves community. And I was just like, why? Why? And Tam was reminding me that sometimes you have a really sacred experience in community. And I do have that. I've just had a difficult year with a lot of difficult interactions with two-leggeds where it's like, I don't feel like I've been honored by many of the two-leggeds I've been engaging with in my personal life. I don't feel like I've been honored. And that's okay. You don't have to honor me. If you're not honoring me, it's probably because you're not honoring yourself. I don't have to take that personally. But when that occurs, sometimes I can forget the virtue and the value of being in community with others and surrounding myself with awakening minds, like minds. It's part of why I like the community of the cafes I go to, because I experience, wow, there's a lot of heart and kindness and generosity and thoughtfulness, and I see cute things happening. Look how cute what that two-legged just did, and look at that. And so I realized by talking to Tam that I do crave community, but it's a matter of ensuring that that community is of the frequency that I'm choosing to be a part of. So are you trying to make it happen when it comes to community? And are you trying to make it happen with a community that doesn't actually meet the resonant frequency of that which you seek? Is that really what you want? I don't want to force relationship. I actually would rather a relationship find me. Here I am. I'm Heather Feather. And when it's divinely aligned, I'll know because it's present in my paradigm. And until then, I have plenty to do, but I don't have to make union happen. I think the right person is going to find me and continue to connect to me, and vice versa. Our worlds will eventually come together, and what a lovely thing. But I don't have to preemptively. I think that's why I'm often in the relationships I need to leave, because I'm trying to force something that clearly isn't quite in the stars for me. And so let's drop that bag. Let's maybe pick up celibacy again. Focus on what divinity would have me focus on, which is quite a lot. Are there any ways that you are trying to make it happen, even from your productivity? Are you allowed to rest? Are you allowed to relax? Do you have to always bear fruit? This is one of the other things that me and my new friend James were talking about today. He's across the pond, so it's fun to get to WhatsApp a person and speak to them in real time. But it's like, are you allowed to relax? Is your time manager also bullying you about having to always bear fruit? So today I'm asking, are there any ways that you're forcing yourself to make things happen that perhaps it's just not the divine aligned time for it to occur? You can always subscribe to Rare Bird Medicine on YouTube, like and comment there. I always love to hear your thoughts. And you can go to rarebirdmedicine.com for a lot of medicinal services that I offer. Blessed be.